Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of Bellator 155 right now with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Nick Kalikas, of course, opens these odds for sportsbooks, consults them on MMA odds making. Bellator 155, Nick Kalikas. We have a very exciting main fight here, right? Featured fight. Carvalho and Melvin Manhoef, two guys who are just vicious strikers, knockout artists. Manhoef, he either wins by knockout or gets knocked out. Carvalho is a big favorite, which stands to reason, minus 265. He is the champion. This is his first title defense, and the total makes perfect sense. 1.5 rounds. The under is minus 220. The over is 180. I guess we could be surprised and see this one, go deep into the second round, but on paper at least, it looks like, there's almost no chance that it doesn't end relatively quickly, and maybe, a shot with the under, even at minus 220, might be worth a bet here. Probably going to be a very fan-pleasing fight, though, at the least. Right, Nick?
Definitely. Anytime Melvin Manhoef is involved in a fight, typically, especially if it's not against another wrestler, it's going to be fireworks. There's no doubt about it. That guy has just some explosive power. Unfortunately, he's getting kind of on the decline or towards the end of his career. He's about 40 years old now. But make no mistake, man, the guy has a ton of power, explosiveness still. He can knock most out in the division. So he's a dangerous dude.
Yeah, this is one of those classic situations where you have a fight where you're expecting a knockout, and so you're thinking, the underdog, by definition, has a puncher's chance, has a knockout chance here to score the upset. And the question is, are the underdog odds worth taking a bite at? I don't know. At plus 225, Carvalho obviously is the fighter I would give the edge to, but if I had to make a bet here, I think I would go with Manhoef at plus 225, right?
Yeah, as far as the line is right now, I would say probably so. He opened plus 190, I believe. Now, the line margins have tightened up since the opener as well. Mm-hmm. I opened at minus 270. So it stayed ballpark to where it is now, but obviously the dog money is a little bit better. Yeah, it's a dog or pass situation. I do think that Carvalho wins the fight, though. So I lean his way. He's got explosive power in his own right. A little bit different fighting style, obviously, but he has enough knockout power that if they do stand and trade, obviously it's going to be a little dangerous for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's got enough power to put Manhoef out. He is, again, on the decline a little bit. He's aging. His chin has always been a little bit suspect. For being such an explosive striker, Manhoef does have a kind of a weaker chin. So, Carvalho can beat him on the feet. I think he even might shoot for a takedown or two. Manhoef's defense, his takedown defense has improved, but still, I think Carvalho realizes that that's a path to victory that might be a little bit easier. He could get him down, maybe mount him and punish him that way as well. So I do lean towards the favorite in this spot, but I wouldn't lay the juice against Manhoef's explosive power.
Yeah, all right. So maybe then the best way to bet this one might be with a sneaky play on the over 1.5 rounds at plus 180 because, Carvalho knows that, he obviously Manhoef doesn't have that great of a chin, but he doesn't want to expose his own chin. So maybe he's going to fight him kind of the way he fought Joe Schilling. And maybe this fight could sneak over 1.5 rounds. Maybe it is worth a shot at plus 180. What do you think?
It might. Where the line is now, it's kind of tough to bet under as well. But I do suspect, as most of us do, that it probably ends inside because, if he does get him down in the first round, I think that Carvalho can actually pass to mount and then get superior position, then just start raining down some punishment if that's the case. So if that happens on the ground, then obviously it's probably going to go under. And then at the same time, these guys are going to be swinging for the fences a little bit.
Yeah.
So, either one of them can kind of land on the feet and knock each other out that way as well. So it's tough, but more than likely, a lot of times we're wrong on the unders. A lot of us think it's automatically going under, and we see the fights kind of have a tendency in that spot to go over more so. So if there's any value, it's probably on the over 1.5 rounds, even though I don't think it's going to go over, if that makes sense. And the same thing, the favorite probably wins this fight, but it's hard to touch him at that price as well. Now, if you see significant movement either way, then it's probably worth the stab. I would lean a little bit more towards the under, especially at a better price. And then again, Carvalho drops maybe to 2-1 or under. Of course, he's worth a shot there as well.
All right, so you know how these Bellator lines usually get bet. There's not a lot of time for lines to be up between when they get released and when the fight goes off. Do you expect these lines to move significantly? In what way would you expect that to be?
I think this is going to probably stay ballpark to where it is now. We've already seen some two-way action come in, so there's a lot of split opinions on it. A lot of people are drilling at the dog price with Manhoef because you don't typically see a big number on him. Like I said, minus maybe a wrestler that is going to be taking him down and having a lot of success doing so. Typically, Manhoef gets a lot of respect out there. So he is getting some dog action. And then at the same time, a lot of people realize Carvalho is the champion right now. He's kind of on the rise. And, of course, Manhoef on the decline a little bit. And then with the wrestling aspect coming into play a little bit more for him, even though he's more of a striker, that's a possibility as well. So there is two-way action on this fight. And you know what? From a sports booking perspective, I mean, obviously you want to be in that spot, especially in a fight like this. You don't want to take huge chances and really put yourself on a big decision on a fight like this, because realistically, we don't know how it's going to play out until they get in there, obviously, and and they start banging. So it is a dangerous spot. You want to try to kind of vig out a little bit on this type of fight here, and kind of depend on some of the other fights on the card.
Yeah, all right, I'll tell you what, Nick, the lines where they are now, I think they're pretty dead on, and I think it's going to have to be a pass for me as far as a bet's concerned. If I had to bet the total, I would take it. At the current odds, I would take a shot with the over 1.5 at plus 180, but there's no way I'm going to bet that. And if I had to bet the side, I would take a shot with Manhoef at plus 225, but I don't really want to bet, against Carvalho. But, if I had to give a pick, it would be Manhoef at plus 225. If you had to give a pick on this one, what would it be, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to, I would probably go with you there as well. I think, like I said, that explosive power, a lot of people, count Manhoef out, and you shouldn't do that, obviously. Even in his last fight against Cato, he was able to get the job done there. So, and a lot of people didn't expect him to in that matchup. So he still hasn't enough power that, it's a dog or pass situation. Like you said, most of the time it's going to be pass right now in this spot, but if I had to, I would probably lean dog too.
All right, thanks for your thoughts, Nick. Yeah, this fight is officially going to be a pass for me as far as the bet's concerned. Then we have 4 other kind of interesting fights on the rest of the main card. We have 2 nice heavyweight fights, and then featherweight Pat Curran, of course. He's just minus 175 right now. Do you have anything to say about what's most interesting to you about the other 4 fights on the main card, Bellator 155, Nick?
Well, the Curran fight is interesting a little bit. The public is betting the dog. Curran has been one of these guys. Obviously, he was a former champion. The guy is legit in skill set. He's got good boxing. Yeah. He's got wrestling, good takedown defense, hits. He's powerful. The problem with Curran is at times he gets a little bit tentative. So that might be an issue, and I think that's why people are coming in. But he has had a camp change. He's obviously left Team Curran to try to improve his game a little bit more, and I think that's probably going to motivate him and be enough to make him look a little bit better. I think he just has to kind of step on the gas a little bit more. But, man, the guy has all the talent in the world to actually regain his title. So that's how talented he is. And then another fight that I actually think is maybe a little bit off right now, too, is the Held and Jansen fight. These guys have fought in the past. And, honestly, the first time around when they did fight, I was all over Jansen, and he was successful. It was a close decision, competitive decision, but Jansen won. Now, at this point, though, I would actually lean a little bit more towards Held. And the public is betting Jansen again since he won the first fight. And, of course, they see a little bit more value, I guess, on Jansen at the dog price to where it currently is, especially since they know it's probably going to be pretty competitive, and he won the last fight. And it's interesting because usually most of the public action last time came in on the other way on Held. But I do think what a little side note is here, Held at the time of the first fight, he was, I believe, 18, 19. He wasn't even allowed into the casino where he was fighting, so they had to postpone the event. Well, now he's legitimately a man. He's grown up. He's not, this is a few years later. I think that fight was competitive enough. Now Held is actually improved more so. I think that what you're seeing in Jansen, he's always going to bring it, and he's a quality fighter. But I think Held's improvement kind of trumps right now with Jansen kind of, again, being maybe towards the tail end of his career as well. But it should be another competitive fight, but I do think that Held kind of comes away with the win. So as the price drops a little bit, there's more dog action coming in on Jansen. I think Held might have some value here.
All right, Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Thanks so much for your thoughts on all this.
Thank you.